Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net. Thanks again for watching on Thursday the 2nd of July. Been another warm one today, I know, for many of you. Not quite as hot as it was yesterday though. Before we get to that though, forecast temperature anomaly for the next 7 days from Kirsten Houstein's site. And you notice here, look, this heat through Central Europe, some very hot weather on its way across those central parts of Europe during the next 7 days. Still warm across the UK, but cooling off, and there's the cool weather heading out into the Atlantic to the west of Ireland, just waiting to try and get back in across the UK, but the theme's certainly on warm weather and hot weather across many parts of Europe. Precipitation totals for the next week, anomaly-wise, looking like this. This from tropicaltidbits.com. This is the 1 to 7 day anomaly. And near to below normal rainfall across much of the UK, returning to northern and western Scotland, northern and west Ireland, bits and pieces of rain around. You notice here, look, across much of northern Europe, seeing some periods of rain, but drier through more central areas. And then into the week after, the CFS looking like this, builds the drier weather back in, still across Europe, as you'd expect with that heat. Makes the UK rather mixed. Most rainfall across northern and western areas, above normal in places, nearer normal for most other parts. So certainly trying to hint at things going more mixed. I still think middle of the month is when we're going to see an improvement, and I'll show you more about that when we see the JMA charts. But this is the mean of the 10-day flow from the ECMWF on the left, the GFS on the right. It's the 7 to 10-day anomaly, so this runs from next Thursday through to Sunday, the 12th of July. The ECMWF making more of the trough out in the Atlantic, putting it in as a cut-off feature, but certainly wants to keep the ridge across Europe on the GFS with a southwesterly jet through the country. ECMWF wants to turn it more into the west or the northwest. So certainly some arguing going on between the models as to exactly how this pattern is set to evolve in the next 7 to 10 day period. They all like the idea of the ridge building off the states, but struggle with the idea of the trough through the UK and the compensating ridge coming across the north of that trough in the Atlantic, and what impact that has on our weather at the moment. I think I'm tempted to go more with the ECMWF look of things, which brings in the cooler west northwesterly flow and the more changeable, well, actually mixed conditions through the UK. Still looking to an improvement there in the middle of the month. Okay, where's my soapbox? Here it is. Yeah, it was hot yesterday, wasn't it? There's no doubt about it. It was very hot. What you see in front of you here is a table of data from the Met Office site, and you know, there was talk about it being the hottest July day on record. Well, let's get one thing straight first of all. When we say on record, that actually means 100 years, because the Met Office records, they've come up with an arbitrary start date of 1910, 1911. That's the start date as far as they're concerned when records began. Of course, our records go back further than that, well into the 1800s. Now, like I say, there's no doubt it was a warm day, and across the channel in Paris, for example, it was the second warmest July day since, was it mid to late, yeah, the middle 1800s. Over here, yeah, it was a hot day. I'm not doubting it was a hot day. And this isn't having to go at the Met Office. What it is probably just having a bit of a raising the flag of awareness. So don't be lax with this data when we're banding around things like warmest data. These are the stations that set records yesterday. Records in inverted commas. I have a big problem with the Heathrow record. I really don't think that record stands, because it's Heathrow, for goodness sake. It's tarmac. It's a suburb of London, for goodness sake. Of course it's going to be warm. And to prove the point, there is Heathrow. This is the weather station at Heathrow Airport. This here is the main runway. This here is a perimeter road. There is the weather station. Can you imagine the heat that's being generated out here and down here? And zoom out a little bit further, look, there's the station. Look at that. Look at the size of the tarmac, the car park there that's surrounding it. So Heathrow's were being told only yesterday in the news is getting busier and busier year on year. So of course temperatures are going to rise. So I don't think you can use it as a comparison. Far more reliable is the temperature record from Wisley, which is where the record, the previous July record, was set in 2006 with 36.5 degrees. That's a far more reliable record than this one at Heathrow. Now I say, of course, it's not representative. Well, I suppose it is representative of Heathrow. So if you were at Heathrow, yes, it would have felt damn hot and, you know, would have been the warmest of days there. But you just got to be very careful when we're banding these terms around. And just look at these records. Okay, so we're now able to say, are we, that all-time records, warmest down record, after 15 years? 15, 20, 18, 10, 17, 23. Okay, right, okay, we'll buy a 52 and we'll buy a 74. And probably go 23 I'll look at and 20 I'll look at as well. But not these, not 17 years, 10 years for goodness sake, 18, 15, 15. No, you can't buy into those records at all. It's these that count, these longer periods. That one's significant, a degree above its previous record. 0.7 here, look, we got 0.2, so barely here, and 0.1 there at Wittering. But that's the significant part of the data from yesterday, not this lax idea that we can now start quoting when records began, or since records began, as being 10, 15 or 18 years ago. And as I say, this isn't a go at the Met Office, it's just, come on, let's just not be so lax with our record. Let's respect those people that went before us, the weather observers that went before and were so diligent in their tasks and would not have gone around banding about it being the warmest on record ever when such a short station record existed. I think we've got to respect them, haven't we? A little bit more than that. Okay, right, off my soapbox now. If you need a forecast for the next couple of days, check out Gary's Fast Forecast. But you've heard enough from me, so whatever you're doing, keep the sun shining, and bye for now.